Hello, BookTube. This is a bit of an update on sort of things that's going on with me, the channel, at all, I guess, yeah. Um, First of all, I want to start out with an apology that last night, Saturday evening, I had planned to do a live with Scott Danielson and Ira from SF Words of Wonder for our current, well, it was last month's November's read of The Werewolf Principle by Clifford Simak. And 15 minutes before the live, I lost power. It was blinking on and off most of the afternoon, but I lost it at about quarter to six when 15 minutes before. It came back on an hour later, give or take, but my internet was down. And so was my phone, everything. But even my phone, at best, the data connection is just lucky enough to send a text at times intermittently. And it was when it finally came on about an hour after that, it was very intermittent and shaky. I could barely send text messages. Now, but it didn't. But the internet didn't come on. I did get a text message saying that they know there's an outage with my provider, and then it still didn't come on. And then I finally got a message this afternoon saying that it should be rectified by 9:13 tomorrow, Monday. Assume that meant Monday morning, but it came on at almost around 8:30 this evening. That's why I'm doing this video now. So I do apologize. I couldn't do it. And I had a number, and I want to apologize to Scott and Ira because I had tons of messages on Voxer saying, is everything okay and whatnot. But I didn't see those until probably 10 after 10 p.m. Last night, many hours later. So that will be rescheduled for next Saturday, whatever date that is, almost a week today. And hopefully, because it's extended, we will have Matt at Science Fiction Reads and Brandy at the Book Collectic. So everybody who wants to see them in on the discussion, please, say so in the comments to get them to put a fire under them to read the book in the week, so we can all discuss it. So yeah, so that was the bad thing that sort of happened, but also too, and I think all this power outage was done by a storm we had here. There was lots of wind, lots of rain, and my roof was leaking, and I lost some books, some very, very nice science fiction books, and some film books that water in a couple hours just destroyed. And then some Blu-rays as well, that the cases are all soaked. Oh, I'm not pleased. I'm not pleased at all. I didn't care if the toilet upstairs was just totally soaking wet because it was leaking in there as well. And I just threw a bunch of dirty clothes in to soak it up. I'll deal with it eventually. But yeah, but it tells me that because I always because I'm in a black hole here for mobile signal, for the phone signal. And I sort of thought, well, I'll get a landline, but there are no traditional landlines anymore. It's internet based. So when the internet's out, my modem's not working. Then I thought, okay, well, I'll get a power bank to keep that going. But it looks like now that if the power goes out, there's it must, if it's a bigger power outage than just very localized, it's going to take out whatever is running the internet too. So that doesn't work. But that means I'm sitting here in the dark, and I can't read. Yeah, sure, I got my tablet that I can do an ebook or something, but I can't read very long in an ebook. So it tells me what I've been thinking for quite a while. I need to get one of these bigger power banks, which costs about £100 or more. But it looks like a lot of those can run like an electric light for about 20 hours, I think. And that's what I need is to be able to see. during the night. So that would take me a couple days to use that up. And usually probably there wouldn't be an outage that bad, but yeah, they're about 100 pounds or so. So anybody who wants to contribute to the fund for a power bank, please let me know. Um, because I do need to get one of those, but also I want to get like a couple kerosene lamps, as well, just as a backup, and probably some candles, just miscellaneous. But I can't read with candles. I grew up with kerosene lanterns, so I can read with those. And also, too, I got to get a flashlight. My flashlight no longer works. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. A lot of things. Anyway, that's all done and dusted. I have to call my landlord tomorrow about the roof, and that's going to be an ordeal. But yeah, so the CIMAC is rescheduled for Saturday, this coming Saturday. Now, what else am I doing? I figured I might as well do this as a bit of an update. I'm currently reading this month's CIMAC book, Destiny Doll. What a cool cover, doll cover. I'm halfway through. If I pushed it, I could have done it today, but I'll read a bit more tonight, and then I'll finish it off tomorrow. Uh, and I just finished yesterday a book that I've been reading with Brandy at the Book Collectic. It's The Sands of Mars by Arthur C. Clarke. This is the Golden Age SF Masterworks, but it's the old Golden Age Masterworks. And this fabulous book. This is so far. I've read quite a few of Arthur C. Clarke's, and this is my favorite. Now, I'm reading it in this format because Brandy has an omnibus called Prelude to Mars, and it has Prelude to Space in it, plus 16 short stories, and then it's bookended with this. And once we get everything sorted out, we'll probably wind up doing a live talking about what we think of the whole sort of book, or the short stories and the two novels that are in there. But I did like this very much. Also, I had finished the Notre-Dame de Paris, Hunchback of Notre-Dame, Quarterback of Notre Dame, or whatever you want to call it. And there's a group that Mark at Book Time with Elvis had started. There's a number of other BookTubers that are a part of this. And we did a bit of a live video on Friday, sort of Friday reads. I had finished it Friday morning, or was it Thursday? I can't remember now, but everybody else is still reading it or waiting to start. So, but I'll leave a link to the live video that Mark and I did, and just sort of no spoilers for the book, but just sort of an overview of the book itself, and a little bit about Victor Hugo. And this is the Oxford World Classics edition of this. It was my second read of this, and I enjoyed it very much so. Let's see what else. So I'm going to finish up Destiny Doll by Clifford Simak, and also what I've been reading is an event that Arron Hook started called Ghost Stories for Christmas, and it's to read 3 M.R. James stories every week. So, and we were supposed to do a live video this evening with the first weeks, but obviously I couldn't make it for that. So I don't think he wound up doing it. So it will be on the future. So the 3 stories were Canon Elbrick's scrapbook, Count Magnus. That was this past week's, and A Warning to the Curious, I think it is, as that was called. I never get A Warning to the Curious, yeah. So we'll eventually talk about that. There's 3 more this week, this coming up off the top of my head. I can't remember it exactly, but I will leave a link to Aaron's video introducing all of that. So I'll continue reading those every week. Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, I'll be rereading Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol, as I normally do every year. Now, what else for the year? Well, for my Patreon book club, we're reading Aldous Huxley's The Flame Tree, the Theka. I can't put my hands at the moment on on the book, but I will get it in a little while. So the other thing I decided to read, I was a bit of a quandary, but something that I didn't wind up reading when I was reading um, the uh, Mysteries of London was this other honking penny dreadful called Ruth the Betrayer. It's a great big thing. It's 1,100 pages, but it's just fabulous. Like, there's it says like we meet a cast of memorable characters, including the murderous ruffian Death's Head, escaped convict Jack Rafferty, the sinister schemer Enos Earthworm, and his victim Alice Trevelyan. Um, so I'm looking forward to doing this. It's just fabulous, sort of over the top penny dreadful. So I'm I'll do this. It's 1,100 pages, and if there's still time, in June, Arron and I did Dune in June. So it was a reread of Dune, the first book by Frank Herbert for me, and I decided to continue on and just read a book a month for the rest of them. And in November, I finished up with Chapter House Dune, and the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson have continued writing in the Dune universe. They've written about 14 or 15 or more books that sort of they're predating, I think, mostly the Dune books of Frank Herbert, but they also, from an outline, wrote two books to finish up the saga that Frank Herbert had started, and it was called Dune 7, the outline. So they made two big books out of it, and this is the first one called The Hunters of Dune. It's a 30-page or 30 or 50-page outline. They made like almost 1,300 pages out of it. So there you go. This one's 625, and I think the second one, The Sandworms, is it The Sandworms of Dune, I think? Let me see. It might say in here. No, it doesn't say. But the last one. So I might get to this. I may not in December. And I hope, well, it was floated the idea that Mark at Book Time with Elvis and I might do, like in January, just do a year in review of things. So that'll be fun to do if I can remember most of the stuff I've read. And then just a little glimpse into 2025. I know there's going around. There's a Proust, a year of Proust. I can't do something like that, like so many pages a day throughout the year. I have to get lost in the story. So, and this will be a reread for me, but I'm going to reread Proust in January. I'm going to read the Moncrief translation I have in Penguin. So hopefully I can get that all done in January. But I'll also be continuing the CIMAC next year, a CIMAC book a month. They've been out of order, chronological out of order, because I didn't expect to do this kind of thing with it. I started out with a book every month, just a few of sort of my favorites, and then it's like it was misunderstood. So a few booktubers said I was doing a book a month. So I figured, well, okay, well, I'll throw in another book in the in-between months. So we've been doing a book a month since March, I think. We started out with City. There's a playlist for everything that we've done, all the lives for them, and we'll continue to do that. I'll see if I can remember to put a link to the playlist. I think it's it's a playlist of everything I've done with CIMAC, but the top ones, the most latest ones, are going to be the lives. So next year, well, January is a bit out of order again. It's going to be Goblin Reservation. Because that was an extra one that I read, but others didn't. So I've put that into January to redo because we didn't do a live with it. And then starting February, it'll be chronological, starting back with his 1939 short novel, Cosmic Engineers, even though it was published in book form in 1952, I think, or 51. I think it was 52 or 53. But it was originally published serialized in Astounding Stories in 1939. Now, and then from then on, it'll be chronological of the ones that we haven't read, so we'll be skipping over some, obviously, because we've already done those. But as I say, they'll be chronological of when they were written. But we're also every month that, like 1939, for in February, we'll do some short stories that were from the 30s, and every year, whatever decade that book is in, we'll do a few short stories, because most of Simak books are fairly short. They're 200 until you get to the ends. The last few books that he did of his career, most of them are under 200, but not much more than about 250. So we can always throw in a short story. So, and I'm pleased that that's going well. And anybody else who wants to join in with this, that's great. So do let me know. What else for 2025 that I've got sort of booked in? Oh, yes, I'll be doing in April, I'll be reading Les Miserables again, but I'll be doing a different translation. I'll be doing the Julia Rose translation. So I'm going back in time from the current Christine Doniger one, and then go back every year in April and read that. And also, I might be doing or redoing Count of Monte Cristo and Gargantua and Pantagruel. If you're interested in these, do let me know. I'm also floating the idea of doing the River World series by Philip Jose Farmer. And, well, there's a couple. There's the Giants series by James P. Hogan I was looking at, as well as redoing the Hyperion Cantos. But yeah, there's a lot there. So, but if anybody's interested in any of those, then let me know, because maybe the more popular one I will decide to do. I might only do one of the three. But yeah, I think that's about it that I have set in stone at the moment for 2025. There will be other things that will be coming up, for sure, but yeah, that's it. Again, I apologize for the live that didn't go ahead. I've deleted that, so it's gone now off YouTube. And once everything is sorted later in the week, we'll get a new scheduled live for Saturday. Thank you, BookTube.